especially to his friends from the Philadelphia area for all the long travel and nice thoughts from you during this week. This is one of the hardest things and one of the easiest things I've ever done. It's easy because it's about Eddie. It's hard because it's about Eddie. We have a great family. Eddie was one of a million. I went to the closet to get I left business 4 years ago. I haven't worn a dress suit since. I went to the closet to get my dark funeral suit out. And of course, mysteriously, they all shrunk in the last 4 years, waist included. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to dress in tribute to Eddie, along with Ethan, Devin, and Owen. I got the blazer and the khakis, straight tie and the loafers. And we all know that nice sight of that dress and the blonde hair coming down. It just warmed you up. Most of the time, we don't get what we deserve. And for most of us, that's a good thing. That was Eddie's favorite quote from Oscar Wilde. On the other hand, Eddie led a life undeservedly. He had a lot of acknowledgments, awards, promotions, things we never knew about up here in Scranton. He's Eddie, by the way, up here in Scranton. He's not Ed like he is down in Philadelphia. He was very, very quiet and unserving to himself. He was a giver. He wasn't a taker. He was a helper. He never looked the other way when somebody had a need. He'd always offer a nice thought of consolation to them. We all admired that in him. Father talked about be kind, be kind, be kind. Boy, was that ever Eddie. He led a simple life, but he was not a simple man. He was the son of Irish and Russian parentage. He had the warmth of the Irish and the patience of the Russian. Thank God it wasn't the other way around. He did have a little stubborn streak in him. I'd call it more persistence than anything. When he knew he was right, he'd stick to it. And I think it served him well. A lot of the bikers that he went with said he was always up at the lead of the senior pack, I guess you qualify yourselves as, and or helping out, encouraging others. He was truly one of a kind. He was very, very kind. He was very courteous, respectful. He was an example of his Catholic faith. If he were out of town traveling, the first thing he wanted to know was where's the nearest church. Unlike myself, I'd like to know where the nearest bar is. But a little story about this last week. Very thoughtful. I think thoughtfulness is one of his greatest traits. I got a call from Lori, the young lady who made the first reading here today. And she just found out about him being in the hospital as well as we did, and that maybe it wasn't going to go so well. And she's the mother of two managing a very busy medical practice. And she said, Uncle Jimmy, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going down there. And he never forgot one of my 45 birthdays. Sorry about the age, but it made the point. He was a very thoughtful guy. I think every one of us can attest to getting a little note from him and seeing that Ben Salem return after us, which is great. He did live that life of always thinking of others and helping out. It was actually wonderful. He was truly a success in the true definition of the word. He wanted for nothing. He needed nothing. He accepted what life gave him and made the best of it. He was always at peace with himself. His best works were his last few years of retirement. He made the best of it. He was very active. He was an active jogger, very enthusiastic in aerobics every day. In fact, I just found out a little story about him this week that his class was one of 28. He was the only man in the class. I wondered why he was always so enthusiastic about it. He, of course, was a very avid cyclist. That was his dream. You people have had him and shared him more than we have, and you're very lucky to have done so. We only had him up here on holidays and maybe a vacation. He, of course, loved movies, and most of all, I think we all know this, he was a very passionate reader. I think they estimated he had books in his personal library and read many more than that. He loved politics, current events, and history. He read War and Peace at least 3 times by our count. I never even said those words 3 times in my life. As a result, he was very well informed. I think most of us could remember conversations with him. There was almost no subject he could discuss. He could take either side of an issue in a gentlemanly way. His point of view was always brought up in a more casual way. He certainly had no faults whatsoever, and was always very kind and courteous. One little luxury he allowed himself was gadgets. He loved electronics, and he was always looking at a new Nike sneaker or a new lightweight frame for his bike or a new chain. Reminds me of one time where I had just gotten one of the new digital cameras when they came out. It was like a 2.4 megapixel. And it said, oh, if you're interested in cameras, you might like to see mine. I have a 3.2, you know. Consumer Reports said this is the best one. Years later, I damaged that camera and bought my 3.2. By then, Eddie had a 6.0. That was Eddie. He was always doing things like that. He certainly had a peaceful life. I think that he epitomized that, and I believe we all recognize that. I think that he's with the States right now, and I believe that he leaves a little bit of himself with us, each one of us, and until our day when we can catch up with him, we'll be able to enjoy that little bit. When our time comes, we'll certainly hope to meet him. I just wish he didn't get such a head start.
Yeah.